with Jace. And I'm your host, as always, Jace Lejeune. This is the second installment of the Chase with Jace. And as you can see with my LSU memorabilia, I'm a kind of a homer here. But we'll make sure to promote a lot of football, college football around the country, a lot of high school football. You name it, we got it. We'll promote it. And speaking of high school football, a couple weeks ago, myself and, of course, Andy Bryson of Gridiron Football went to Lafayette, and we actually went to St. Edmund High School, where they hosted a media day for that parish. And it was a great day just to be out there with those guys, and it was football season. Like, football season's starting to come. When you know that media days are coming up, everybody's showing up in their jerseys, their football helmets. That means it's that time of the year again. It's football season. And that's what everybody is excited for. I'm super pumped about it. I'm super excited about it. And there were a lot of really good football teams that we covered at that event. And I'm honored to show you a couple of those interviews here today. Now, there were about 9 football teams that we covered that day. St. Edmund obviously being one of them. But I can just go off with a couple of them as far as the schools that we're able to cover. It was St. Edmund, obviously, Eunice High School. Eunice just won a state championship just a couple years back. Northwest, Westminster. We're going to feature about 3 of those teams here today, but we'll feature all 9 throughout these next 2 weeks. So whether it's going to be on our website at gridironfootballusa.com or it's going to be on the Chase with Jace for next week's show. So we'll have 3 more teams that we'll cover on the show next week. So you'll get to see some of those interviews here today with some of those schools. After I showcase those interviews in the first couple of segments here today, I'll also show you some practice highlights from LSU. Just kind of get my LSU practice reports and just get my overall thoughts on the LSU Tigers and how they're looking. And then finally, I'll recap, which was a big week in recruiting for LSU, with a lot of Baton Rouge guys deciding to stay home and commit to the LSU Tigers. So we'll have all that for you and more on the Chase with Jace. I am so excited to bring this show to you. It is going to be an outstanding show. I can't wait for y'all to see the end product. Now, the first school that we'll cover here on the Chase with Jace. So the high school season is just for y'all, the audience, to get familiar with everything. High school football in Louisiana, they have scrimmages this week. Next week is Jamboree week, and then the week after that is the regular season. So we're going to be showing you a lot of content from the high school side, starting here today. And the first school we'll preview is the St. Edmund Blue Jays, led by head coach James Shiver. The Blue Jays, they've always been in the thick of things when it comes to the playoffs and the select side. They've gone to second round, quarters. They've always made some runs. They've been consistent. They've always had winning seasons under Coach Shiver. Really the biggest thing for them is just trying to get over that hump. And they have the skill guys to do it. Last year, the Blue Jays went 6-5 overall and lost in the first round to a very good Sacred Heart Ville Platte, which was another team that we covered in media days. And there is a lot of talent on this team. Some of the key players for the upcoming season, you look at Taylor Dare, which you'll see on this show here in about a minute from now, about 2 minutes from now, you'll see all those interviews. But Taylor Dare is an all-state player. Was a running back. He's going to play slot receiver for the Blue Jays, and he's actually going to be invited to this year's Gridiron Football All-Star Game, which will be played at the end of the year. And then Coach was telling me about his freshman running back, Kevon Johnson. So they got skill players galore. They're a young football team. They have about 19 sophomores or so. But this is a very talented St. Edmunds team that can make a run. They have the skill players, especially in that side of the bracket that they'll be on by the end of the year, to make some noise. So, yeah, they can be a dark horse this year to make a run in the playoffs. So I caught up with Coach Shiver. I caught up with Taylor Dare, Kevon Johnson, some of their other guys, senior guys. They don't have a lot of seniors, but the seniors they have are very experienced, and they will be key impact players for the Blue Jays this year. So check it out as you get to see myself. Hair was a little messy at the time, especially with the humidity in Louisiana, and this hair doesn't go great in that humidity, as you can clearly see on the video. So the first school that you'll see a spotlight here today is where the media days was taking place. St. Edmund High School, home of the Blue Jays, 6-5 last year, trying to go for another winning season and perhaps host a playoff game in 2022. Check out the Blue Jays right here. Jace Luzerne here with Gridiron Football. I'm here. Please introduce yourself.
Sammy Prudhomme.
Sammy, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for coming. Of course, this is St. Edmunds, so it's pretty natural to be over here.
Yeah.
But Sammy, what position do you play?
Fullback and linebacker.
Okay. So you play both ways for St. Edmunds. Is there a position that you preferably like more than the other?
Well, I think about it like it's the same position, just opposite side of the ball, so I like them equally.
Okay. What do you think are the biggest strengths to your game? First as a fullback, and talk about your strengths as a linebacker.
My blocking angles at fullback pretty strong. Going over with the holes for Taylor there. And linebacker, he read the ball pretty good. Make pretty big hits, I guess.
What is something like this upcoming season that you've worked really all summer long just to help improve your game even more?
My speed.
Your speed. Okay, cool. Well, what kind of drills that you enjoy doing the most to kind of help you with those, helping you with your speed?
We actually did a speed camp this summer, and I like we do like a fall and start. It's more like explosive drill. You're starting off running faster.
Is there a particular player that you really like just to model your game after? NFL, college, any guy that you really like watching?
I used to like watching Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly? Yeah, he was a really good player for the Panthers. Definitely sure was. Any other sports that you like doing or that helps you with football?
Track.
Track? What do you do in track?
400.
400? Okay. As far as schools, has any school shown you any interest or any looks right now?
I don't think so.
Not right now?
Well, the coach sent out a few
Okay.
to a few schools.
Okay. What is your message for that came right here as far as colleges that are looking for a player like you? What is your message to those college coaches that are looking for a player like you?
I work hard. I'm honest. I listen pretty good.
Okay. What's an interesting fact about you? Something for the audience to know a little bit about you off the field. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time when you're not playing sports?
I like to hunt.
Like
fish.
to hunt? Okay, what do you like to hunt?
Deer.
Deer, okay. What do you like to fish?
Bass.
Okay, cool, man. What are your goals for the season? It could be wins as a team or just individual goals upcoming for the Blue Jays.
Our goal this year is to win district and make it past the first round of the playoffs.
All right. Sounds good, Cole. Nice talking with you, man. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Jace Luzerne here from Gridiron Football with St. Edmund, running back, wide receiver Taylor Dare. Taylor, first of all, just want to say some breaking news here at St. Edmunds that you are invited to play in the Gridiron Football game this year. Talk about that honor and just getting the opportunity to play with some of the best players in Louisiana and across the country.
Yeah, I'm excited to broadcast my talents to another level, be able to college coach see me play to my best ability, and to really just show out.
And Taylor, I know you've gotten some interest so far from some other schools. Talk about some of the schools that have shown interest in you so far.
McNeese State University has shown some interest, Belhaven, and Millsaps.
What are some schools that you're like, man, I can't wait to get some interest from or some communication from? What are some schools that you've grown up really admiring?
McNeese or LSU. My dad played at LSU, so I'd really like to follow his footsteps.
Okay, talk about your dad. What position did you play at LSU, and does he talk a lot about those LSU playing days to you?
Yes, sir, he does. He played offensive guard. He was 6'5", pretty big guy. He played for a couple of years, and then he went and worked.
So totally different style of player as you are.
Yes, sir.
You know, you get to run the football, have the football in your hands, and he was out blocking for guys like you.
Yes, sir.
So what is some advice that he's given you, especially going through this type of process right now?
To stay consistent, always work hard, and to never give up.
And as far as what you're working on for your senior season, because you only have one of those in high school, what
Yes, sir.
are your goals for the upcoming season?
As a team goal, I'd like to win district and go past the first round of playoffs. A personal goal is to break 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving.
What are some accomplishments that you are most proud of so far during your career at St. Edmunds? Is there a game or I guess like any type of, just award that you received over the years that really sticks at the top of your list?
I broke the kick return record for 100 yards over here at St. Ed's, and I'm second to tying the record for 100 yards on the ground and 100 yards receiving.
So how tired were you off that return? Sure, that's 100 yards. That's a long way to run, man.
It wasn't too bad. It was more towards the end of the game, so of course I was tired, but it was still super exciting being able to celebrate with my team after.
And as far as your message as far as what kind of talent that you bring to the table, obviously you're getting some looks already, you've shown what you can do. But for some of the college recruiters out looking for a player just like you, what is your message to them?
I work hard. I'm a good listener. Whenever I get told to do something, I do it, and I'm a great learner.
Well, Taylor, I'm just going to say congratulations again, invited to the bowl game. I'm looking forward to see what you do this season for the Blue Jays.
Thank you.
Jason Lejeune here from Gridiron Football, here with St. Edmunds offensive lineman Jacob Beard. And Jacob, just talk about, getting the opportunity to do this at St. Edmunds High School and just getting, doing media day and, doing interviews like this. Yep. Awesome, man. And I just, as far as this season goes, just talk about the message to the overall team and what you're excited most for your senior season.
Well, really, I'm excited to see what our offense can do this season, because a lot of teams around us are expecting us not to go full speed, but we're ready to go out there and show them what we can do.
As far as a player you're talking to me about that you really like watching, I know you don't watch a lot of NFL, but you did pick a pretty good football player to kind of emulate in Quentin Nelson from the Colts. So talk about why you chose Quentin Nelson.
Because Quentin Nelson, he's determined to make his blocks. He's determined to pull and kick out the end. And he's just a big, fast, strong guy, and that's who you want to look up to as a player. And he knows how to get the good form right.
And I know I just talked to Taylor, and he's a very explosive guy, and he can make plays. He's a touchdown waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So what is it like, how easy does it make your job to be blocking for a guy like that?
Well, it's easy because sometimes I might not be as fast as him. Like when I pull and get to the hole, he's already there before me. I should have been faster, but in the next play, I understand that. We did a speed camp this past summer where we did a drill for pulling guards where you get down on your knee and you explode up and you go through the hole. Well, that really did help me a lot these past few days, and I managed to get to the hole before him for once.
That's hard to do when you're trying to contend with his speed and what he can do on the football field.
Oh, yeah.
As an offensive lineman, what are your biggest strengths? Is it the run game, the pass game? What are your biggest strengths as an offensive lineman?
For me, my biggest strength as an offensive lineman is my speed, because I know I'm not as big as an old lineman should be, so I use my speed to my advantage, and that's helped me a lot last season where I use my speed, and when I hit someone, I go in full speed where I don't even need the strength. I can just knock them off, and then it works, and then I'll make the block there.
What are you trying to improve on for the senior season? What are you trying to work on?
Trying to keep my head on a swivel and trying to see where I'm going, because sometimes my head might be down when I'm trying to get down, but I need to work on that and just work on my form.
What team on the schedule you're like, boy, I am so excited to play these guys this year. This is the game I can't wait to play the most this year.
We're going to a bowl game in Texas, and that'll be a great opportunity for us to show who we are and what we can do as a team. Now, I'm sure they're over there not expecting us to go out and do much, but we're going to show them.
And as far as, I was going to say your message and everything, but, as far as what you want to do after football, because you're concentrated on after football as well. So what do you want to do?
I plan to go work in the Great Lakes offshore where my dad is. He's been working up there for years. He's a hard worker, and I do learn a lot from him. And he's the best dad I can ask for.
Last question. What is your message to the St. Edmunds fans? What kind of overall team we should be expecting this year?
Just we're hard workers. We like to show our speed because naturally we don't have a lot of big guys, but we do like to be fast, and fast speed does help us, and that's what to expect this season.
Jacob, it's been a pleasure, man. You handle yourself like a pro, man. You did pretty good. You're pretty good at this little thing right here.
Yes, sir.
So, Jacob Beer, check him out, St. Edmund High School, offensive lineman. Jace Lejeune here from Gridiron Football. I'm here with St. Edmunds head football coach James Shiver. And Coach, talk about this event and really hosting this event with 9 other really good football teams around across this area.
Well, KATC puts on this media days every year, and we've been going to other schools all around, and we never hosted it. And I think we have some of the nicest facilities, maybe the nicest facility in this area. So we offered to host it this year, and they took us up on it. And then I started contacting all the other media. I contacted you guys, contacted the TV stations, and I think it's gonna be great. I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, you want to meet a lot of the teams, you can meet them all here.
Oh, we're going to be talking to a lot of the players and coaches
That's
today,
right.
I guarantee it. And this is really just, I guess, the unofficial start of the football season. Then when fall practice is coming up, you got scrimmages, jamborees, and the rest follows after that. So what's just the feeling this time of year, the anticipation to get ready for a football season?
Well, we actually started on Monday a couple days ago, and so we've been practicing a lot. And but it's our time of the year. As our kids, we play in a very tough district. We have Opelousas Catholic of Point Capiz, Sacred Heart, North Central, us. So you better have a great off-season program, which we do. We really been in the weight room. Our lift-a-thon is actually on Tuesday. We're gonna hopefully we have a bunch of guys join that 225 club and power cleans and bench presses, and that's where you got to be. One good thing about our school, we run it a lot like a college. Our booster club always puts money back into our programs. As y'all came in, you see they're building new ticket booths. They're always putting money back in our facilities, and that's why we have such nice facilities because of the booster club here. Coach Corey Diaz was the booster club president. Now Coach Chris West, Chris West is in there as a booster club president. They just do a good job. And so, it's football season, man. I mean, we've been lifting. We're fired up, Jace, and we're ready for a good season.
For the St. Edmunds fans out there, Coach, talk to them about what kind of overall team we should be expecting this year from the Blue Jays.
Oh, we're gonna be young, but we're gonna be fun while we're young. We've always had a history here of scoring a lot of points. We broke the scoring record a couple years ago. We scored a lot of points last year, but we've been having classes of 18 seniors, 19 seniors. Well, this year we got 8 seniors. But we got 25 sophomores. We got 7 juniors. So we got a lot of young. We will make some young mistakes. I promise you, it will happen, right? But I tell you what, we're gonna be fun to watch. We got a lot of speed. We got Taylor Dare back as a senior kick returner. He's gonna be playing some slot receiver. We got some colleges interested in him. We got Kevon Johnson. Kevon, he can run. He's gonna be an amazing running back next 4 years. He's just gonna be a freshman this year. Hayden Lesage moved in from Lake Arthur. He has to sit out this year. Big old offensive lineman. He's very talented, very good. Then I got Jacob Beer. I got Sammy Prudhomme. It's fun. I guess it's a pasta dish with all the sophomores and salt and pepper with the juniors and seniors.
How important is it for Taylor and those seniors, the guys that you brought here today, to really take on that leadership role, knowing that this is the old team?
Oh, it's important, man. I mean, I tell our seniors all the time, you can't be relaxed this year. You got to give me everything you got every day, and you got to lead. One thing about St. Ed's is a lot of tradition. We do a lot of tradition stuff, like the freshmen stay after and clean locker rooms, and not a hazing thing, but a tradition thing, and so freshmen know their role in the team. Everybody's been through it. I went through it when I was a freshman here. It feels like a million years ago, but and so we know our roles. We listen to our seniors, listen to our coaches, and look, man. I mean, I'm excited for this season. Everybody's like, Coach, y'all might not be very good. I tell everybody, I'll tell you, we're going to shock a lot of people. We play 2 4A schools. We go to Texas, play in the Star in Frisco. Week 2 against a big 3A school from Texas. I'm telling you, we're going to shock the world this year.
Coach, what's just been the overall message? Because I know every coach has that leading to the off season, going through the summer condition, spring, summer. What's just been the overall message to these guys?
Work. I mean, we know what we have to do. In a school where we only have 150 kids, Jason, and that's what's good about single A. We share athletes with everybody. our baseball players are our football players, and our football players are our basketball players, and so I'm at every sporting event year round. And we get to, it's a family, and they know, all my guys know you got to put in the work. Whatever you put in, you get out. And they know that, and we push that from day one. In the weight room, our strength and conditioning coaches are, work. The word for the summer was power cleans. We were pushing power cleans this summer, and we hope we have, like I said, several joining that 225 club this year.
Yes, sir, Coach. Well, any other last message, or just to the fans out there, to the school, as far as just coming over to the stadium, coming over Friday nights, and really experiencing some of the best football that there is around?
I'll tell you what, if you haven't been to a St. Edmund Blue Jay home game, you've missed out on life. Get out here on Friday nights and come see what we have. I mean, we have, we get big crowds. We're probably the only school that has a facility across the street where we have tailgate parties before the game. Closed caption TV, our games are on, and it's on the TV across the street. I mean, so you're missing out if you don't get out here. It's a quality event, it's a life-turning event, and then you get to come see some awesome kids playing their heart out, real grassroots football.
Jay Lejeune here from Gridiron Football. I'm here with St. Edmund sophomore quarterback Kane West. And Kane, just talk about just having this event. This is the first time I believe this media event's been here, and just really being part of the experience. It's about football time.
Yes, sir. It's very cool to be out here and have it at our field. We got very nice facility out here. Keep up with it. Yeah, it's going great out here, man.
I know you can't wait soon enough, because this is going to be the first year as a starting quarterback for the St. Edmunds varsity team. So I know that you're anticipating for sure this moment. Just talk about that first moment. How excited you're going to be when you run out with your team first game of the season?
Oh, it's going to be very exciting to be out here as a starting quarterback for St. Ed's as a sophomore. It's going to be, never had that feeling before. I didn't get to play last year, so it's going to be pretty cool.
And so what injury did you have last year?
Last year, my injury, I tore my, what was it? Oh, I tore my growth plate off my elbow, and so I had to have surgery and put a screw back in it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I guess like 1 to 100, just how healthy you feel ever since that injury.
Oh, coming back, I feel 100% healthy, a lot stronger and ready to go.
And I know this is your first year as a starting quarterback, but it does help when you got a lot of weapons around you. Just talk about some of the really good offensive weapons that could be the strength of this team this year.
It really does help a lot. We can have Taylor there at our slot receiver, be able to get him the ball a lot. So it's going to help us a lot. And Kevon Johnson behind me, running the ball, he's very quick. He's going to be able to get through the line.
What has been the coaches been telling you just as far as being the quarterback? What do they expect from you just to run this offense?
For being the quarterback this year as a sophomore, they really want me just to be the leader out there and lead the team, and that's what they're looking from me, is to take the team in my hands, and that's what quarterbacks got to do. Got to be a leader out there.
Is there a particular college or NFL quarterback that's what I want to be? That's the guy that you really look to?
Yes, sir. One quarterback that I really look up to is Joe Burrow. Coming in, whenever he came into LSU, and nobody really thought he was going to be that good. Coach really let him take the team into his hands and be the leader out there.
Yeah, it turned out the rest was history after that.
Yes, sir.
So what he was able to do. What are some strengths to your game as a quarterback, and what are some things that you need to improve on?
Some of the strengths that I have is really it's throwing the ball too, and being smart about and run the offense. The offense is very easy to run. You just gotta have it up there. Be smart about it.
You have any goals for the upcoming season, whether it just be individual numbers or just a team goal? Any goals that you have for the upcoming
Yes, sir.
season?
We in the past few years we haven't won district, so this year hopefully we're going for a district title.
Okay. Well, as far as the viewers out there or the readers for Gridiron Football, what is an interesting fact about yourself that maybe not a lot of people know about you?
I don't know. Just coming in as a sophomore quarterback and just showing what I got.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, sir. So, Kane West, St. Edmunds sophomore quarterback. Expect a lot from him this year in his first year as a starter. Jay Lejeune here, Gridiron Football, along with St. Edmunds freshman. We got a freshman right here, Kevon Johnson, running back for the Blue Jays. Kevon, thanks for joining us. Yeah, and I talked to Coach Shiver, and the first thing he told me, Jace, you got to watch out for this freshman running back. He's going to be special. Talk about your ability and what makes you stand out, probably among other running backs out there.
Well, I think kind of my vision and my speed is really what gets me going as a running back and get me noticed and all that.
vision and speed. I mean, those are two obviously really good qualities you need to have for a running back. And I know you told me a running back that you not grew up, but really like watching. And I'm sure some of the older timers really appreciate this answer, but you really like Barry Sanders. Talk about why you like the great Detroit running back.
Barry Sanders. I like Barry Sanders because, he got vision, and he wasn't really that fast, but he can really, take it to the house.
And I'm sure that's something that you can do. You're a threat every play to take it to the house. And do you know what your 40 time is, or you haven't been timed yet?
4.6.
4.6. Okay. What are some things? I know you talked about your speed, your vision. What is something that I know you're only a freshman, but I know you're trying to take the next step in something. What you're trying to take the next step in doing to better your game as a running back?
I want to get bigger and stronger so I can, really stay up to the game of football. It can't be just about speed.
And what is it about you? Because not often, I don't care if it's 1A all the way to 5A, it doesn't matter. If you're starting on a varsity team, especially as a running back when you're only a freshman, that means you're pretty special. So what did you have to do in practice to really show what you can do and show that the coaches can trust in you?
Well, our last running back, Taylor Dare, is some real competition with him. I wanna stand competition with him because he's a senior and I'm a freshman, so.
Yeah, and you talked about Taylor, and that brings a good point because that led to my next question. I know that Taylor's an experienced guy. He's a playmaker too. He can take it. He took it 100 yards to the house on one kickoff return, so he has the ability. How do y'all two really complement each other as like a 1-2 punch?
I love the competition with him. Being at practice with him. It's real fun out there.
As far as yards, touchdowns, any specific goal that you're trying to achieve this year in your freshman year?
Well, I kind of got a couple goals this season.
Okay.
I want to, since OC, they always win in district. I want to win district this year as a freshman, and I want 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards. And I know we got some linemen out here as well. Give a shout out to those guys because after all, they're going to help you get those 1,000 yards in the end.
Yeah. That's my big lineman right there standing behind the camera. I hope he could have played this season. It would have been real nice to have him on the line too.
Yeah, but and just my last question, just talk about this year and how excited is it going to be when y'all do take the field for the first time this year?
Well, it's going to be real good. I can't wait till we start to really start. First game of the season is away. I just want to put some respect on our name.
Well, guys, check out this freshman running back for St. Edmunds. He's going to be really special. Straight from the coach's mouth, Coach Shiver, that this is going to be the next great one. So, Jason Lejeune from Gridiron Football, signed off.
And that was it for St. Edmund. As I went to St. Edmund High School for the St. Landry Evangeline Parish Media Days. Big shout out to Coach Shiver and the rest of St. Edmund High School for inviting us, first of all, to the event. And he took a lot of pictures at the event at St. Edmund High School, and they definitely helped us whatever we needed, and it was a great day. And I know that the Blue Jays have a great chance of doing a lot of great things under Coach Shiver this year. They got a lot of talent. They lost a lot of senior leadership from last year, about 18, 19 seniors, but there is a lot of talent. You saw a lot of that young talent in these interviews just now. So make sure to keep an eye on the Blue Jays in Class 1A and, of course, Division 4 side of the playoffs once we go to the private playoffs at the end of the year. So those were the Blue Jays. Now you get to meet the Eunice Bobcats. Now, Eunice has been a very familiar program in the state of Louisiana. Just if you look back in 2018, under Coach Paul Trosclair, who is a coaching legend in Louisiana, the Bobcats, they won the Class 3A state championship. They defeated a very good Sterlington football team. So just a couple years ago, they were in the Dome. So this is a state championship type of program. Now, Coach Trosclair is not the head coach anymore. One of his proteges is, though, Andre Vijay. Andre Vijay has done an excellent job with his program, and they've actually moved up to Class 4A. They were in Class 3A for a while. They moved up to Class 4A, and they've had some misfortune running into the likes of and the car, which has been the kings of Class 4A in the state of Louisiana. And in fact, last year, that was who the Bobcats ran into in the playoffs in Class 4A. They defeated the Ritter in the first round, lost out of the car in the second round. 6-4 was the record a year ago. Good news for the Bobcats. They were young last year, and they still won 6 games, made the second round of the playoffs. They returned about 80% of their offensive production. Now they've actually added some nuances to the offense. It's going to be more of a no-huddle type of wing T offensively. They're led by Hayden Diarbone, who you're going to be seeing here in just a minute. Great player. His brother is at Louisiana College playing college football right now. He is a fullback, linebacker. He does a little bit of everything. District defensive MVP last year. Tylen Cooper is a receiver you'll see on here as well. He's also a two-way player, receiver, cornerback. Even though they're Class 4A, they do play a lot of their guys both ways. So these are some of the most conditioned football players in the Class 4A level. So here it is. Coach VJ, Hayden Diarbone, Tylen Cooper. Those guys for the Bobcats, one of the teams to watch out for in Class 4A.
Jason Lejeune here from Gridiron Football, here with Eunice senior wide receiver and cornerback Tylen Cooper. Tylen coming here with Hayden representing Eunice this year. Give us a little sneak peek and what to expect from the Bobcats this year.
Just expect us to go out every game, work hard, try to the end of the fourth quarter, to the clock hits zero. We're going to be expected to run a lot of people off the field.
And I know you play both wide receiver and cornerback, so you're hardly off the field pretty much, playing both ways. Now, what has helped you really from both sides of it? Like being a cornerback, knowing what the wide receivers want to run because you're a wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
And being a wide receiver, knowing how the cornerback's going to react.
Yes, sir. It kind of gives you that advantage because, you know how they thinking, you know what's going on in their head, the leverage they trying to get, so it kind of helps you out a little bit knowing both positions.
Is there a preference if you had to choose one or the other? What do you enjoy more?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yes,
I can't blame you there. Get to touch the football,
yeah.
get the football. Is there a player that you like to model your game and watch, whether it's, it could be a wide receiver or a cornerback?
A wide receiver I like is really Devontae Adams, the way he runs his routes and stuff.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. Is there a cornerback that you really like?
Jalen Ramsey is my favorite cornerback. Yeah.
I love when those two guys go against each other.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Is there any other sports or anything that help you play football? Any other sports that you play?
Really basketball, lateral quickness, moving side to side, kind of helps you jumping.
Sure. As far as this season goes, is there a specific goal that you're trying to reach for this year? Any numbers, or just it could be a team-oriented goal? What are your goals for this season?
One of my self goals was I want to break the receiving record. The single game is 12 receptions. I want to hit 13. It would be cool to have my name in the.
Okay. Yeah. I don't blame you there. I don't blame you there. And I know Eunice does run the football a lot,
yeah,
so I know you're going to try to throw it to you every time I do throw it. But being a part of this team, being a senior, how excited are you just to step on the field and get ready for the upcoming season?
I'm really excited because my first 2 years in high school I was injured, so to come out my senior year, I know last ride, so it's about to have fun.
And my last question, college, is that something that you want to play at the next level? Do you want to be a college player?
Yes, sir. I definitely want to be a college player.
Have any schools shown you any interest?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. What is your message to colleges that are looking for a player with your skill set?
Good speed, good hands, route running. I work hard, you get the whole package.
That's right, the whole package there. Eunice, wide receiver and cornerback, Tylen Cooper. Tylen, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yep. Here from Gridiron Football with Eunice senior linebacker Hayden Diarbone. Hayden, it's the upcoming time of the year. It's the football season. So we have media days coming up. So it's like the unofficial start of football season coming up. What does it mean to be back out here getting ready for your senior season?
Just really excited. Last year I missed a couple games because of an injury, but
I have a good feeling about this year, just coming back in it. I feel like we're going to have a pretty solid team, a lot of experience. So I'm just hoping we can have a really good season.
Well, the Darbone name is very familiar at Eunice. I know your older brother's at Louisiana College as well. He's doing a lot of great things. And describe your relationship with your older brother and what advice has he given you up to this being a senior for the senior season?
Basically, just don't give up, because I mean, he started off at ULM and transferred to LSU because of just the COVID and all that. He couldn't really handle it all, so he transferred there, and he had to pull a hamstring, and then he just hurt his foot. But he's still going. On top of that, while he's trying to be a nurse, so, I mean, it just makes me keep pushing.
Well, Eunice was in the Dome just a couple years ago. They won a state championship in Class 3A. I know y'all moved up to 4A. Y'all still in 4A
Yes,
at this
sir.
point. So describe the competition and just really, is there really a big difference, you think, from the jump from 3A to 4A?
I don't think it's really a big difference. I mean, I think 4A has probably a little bit bigger guys, but it don't really matter on the field. Eunice has always been smaller, but it's not about the size.
And I know y'all have a new coach as well. This is, I believe, his third year with the team. And I know Coach Trosclair was there for a long time and did a lot of great things. Were you with Coach Trosclair at the
Yes,
beginning?
sir. Freshman year.
Yeah, so explain the difference being under Coach Trosclair and then being under Coach VJ.
It's kind of the same. Coach Tross, he just has a lot more experience. Coach VJ is just kind of young, got to kind of figure out how to get everything going, but it's not bad. It's kind of all the same. Everything's kind of the same, so we don't really mind.
And as a linebacker, what do you think are the biggest strengths to your game as a linebacker?
Being physical and just playing everything downhill. Always going sideline to sideline.
And what you're trying to improve on for your senior season?
Probably just better tackling and probably sideline to sideline quicker. A little slow last year.
Two more questions for you. The second to last one, what you're trying to accomplish, what are your goals for your senior season?
Everything I had last year, except I'm trying to get all state this year. I had all district defensive MVP last year, but the 3 games I missed, I just missed all state, so that's what I'm really shooting for this year.
And what about the recruiting process for you right now? What are some of the schools that really showing you interest? Have you received any offers to this point?
No offers, but kind of got a good bit of interest from UL and a little bit from ULM, and then that's really it right now.
I can't let you leave without asking this question. So, for your brother out there, y'all two go head to head. Who's going to come out victorious on that one?
Oof. I think he still got me a little bit. He still has a couple pounds on me, so I think he got me. But give me a year, so I think I can handle him.
And Darbone, Eunice High School. Appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. We're here from Gridiron Football, here with Eunice High School head football coach Andre Vijay. Coach Vijay, it's media day here at St. Edmund High School, which means it's kind of like the unofficial start to the football season. So talk about being here, being with those guys, bringing your 2 senior leaders up here today, and just being part of this media event.
It's an exciting time of year, not just for me, but for those kids. They really look forward to this. And the fact that they get to get on TV and let their family and friends see them, I think it's exciting. But no, it's time for some football.
And Coach, I know Eunice has established themselves as one of the top programs, and whether it's 3A or now 4A, one of the top programs in that classification. I know Coach Trosclair, you've learned a whole lot under him and what he's done over his Hall of Fame career. What have you learned the most under Coach Tro?
Oh man, I don't know where to start. He not only mentored me and coached, but he coached me also. So he's been I can't pinpoint one thing that I can say that he did the most, but it's from A to Z. He's done it all.
And have you seen Coach Tro just around the program a lot? Just really.
Oh yeah, he's still involved. When he stepped down, first thing I said, "Do you still want to help?" He said, "Look, we're going to work it out." He said, "Let's let everything happen." So he's still around. I got 2 of his boys on my coaching staff also. So it's a family affair.
And I know just seemed like a couple years ago, Eunice was in the Dome. They won the state championship. And I know y'all been in the mix. Y'all been in the playoffs, 2nd round, 3rd round. So y'all always been in the mix. For y'all this year, what kind of overall team we should be expecting from Eunice in order to get back to that position in the Dome?
We're a lot more experienced this year. So I feel that we're going to be better than we were last year. Last year we had some growing pains early on in the year, but we started catching our stride in the second half of the year. So hopefully we can start a little earlier this year and get a good seed going into the playoffs. Quarters 2 years ago, second round last year, both by Edmund High School. So that beast is going to 5A now, so we don't have to worry about them anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to get past those Cougars in New Orleans, I guarantee that. But this year, in order to go back to that winning formula, what does Eunice need to do in order to accomplish the goals this year? What kind of overall team we should be expecting from Eunice this year?
Well, I think we got to be overall more disciplined. We've made a lot of mistakes last year, not just with penalties, but also with attention to detail and playing assignment football. So we hope to bring that back and try to correct those mistakes and play a full quarter game.
I talked to you two senior leaders. I know Darbone's definitely a name that's familiar around Eunice, especially with his older brother. And I know you brought a two-way player, Tyron Cooper, as well. Why did you decide to bring those guys to represent the program here in Media Days?
I'd say that's my two of my most high-impactful players. Everybody knows what Hayden can do, and he does it on both sides of the ball. Tyron's a game changer. You put out him on the edge, he can really make some things happen in the passing game. And then I'll mention another guy that wasn't here today, Tashawn Jordan. Another two-way guy for us. And I think those three guys are our game changers.
Coach, this season, I know the area is really talented in football, especially the Lafayette area. I know 2 years ago, it seemed like 4 or 5 state champions in this area alone. So describe just how really talented this area really is, because I know it doesn't really get much of a rap as probably New Orleans or Baton Rouge or any other areas.
It's very talented. You just take the Lafayette area, like you said, how many people they got, and you just look at where people signing, where they're from. Just in St. Leonard Parish, I think they got some good teams there. Northwest made it to the quarterfinals, I think 3 straight years. We made some runs, won the state championship in 18. So it's a lot of talent in this area.
And have a lot of those guys from that 18 team really come by, really the offseason, really talk to those guys?
Oh, yes, they do. They keep in touch. We see them in the weight room. A few guys are playing college ball right now. I try to keep in touch with them. I love those guys, miss those guys. And it's always good to have those ex-players run the program.
Coach, have y'all had like an off-season theme with these guys, or just over the summer, the spring? What's been really the constant message to this group particularly?
I think our message was we don't want to be 6-4. That's what our record was last year. We 2 rounds in the playoffs, but that's not what we're satisfied over here. We always thinking bigger. So I think we bring a lot more production back from the offensive side of the ball, so we think we're going to be a little bit better.
Last question, Coach. I know the Eunice community, I've been there a couple of times. They love their football, and they really love the support. So what's just to shout out the message to the fans to come back and give y'all that home field advantage throughout the course of the season?
Well, I think it's the kids. The kids play harder when they see those fans going crazy for them. For all of that, get them out there. Give these kids, they make a big play, get excited, and you'll see the excitement from them. So we're trying to get back on the winning way and make a little run here in the playoffs.
Thanks, Coach Vijay. Always a pleasure.
Yes,
Coach Andre Vijay, Eunice High School, one of the best programs in South Louisiana. Check out to see what the Bobcats do in 2022.
Well, that was it. Eunice High School coming up for the Bobcats. This is a team that's trying to get back to state championship contention in 4A. They've been that in Class 3A. They won a state championship in 2018. Now they're just trying to get back after winning 6 games a year ago. This is a veteran team that can take that next step and could make a pretty good run in the playoffs this year. They still have pretty tough non-district with teams like Church Point, Jennings, Voiles. Those are all physical teams that will help make this Eunice Bobcats team ready for district and in the playoffs at the end of the season. Moving on, we have the Northwest Raiders, led by head coach Chris Edwards. Coach Edwards is entering his 9th year with the Raiders. He's been there for a while. They've had a lot of success, a couple of quarterfinal appearances, deep playoff runs. They've been known for their speed and athleticism, but this year is a different story, as they will be based on the line of scrimmage with their offensive line, as all 5 starters return for the Raiders, led by their right tackle, their offensive tackle, Wesley Moore, who you'll get the chance to meet in this interview coming up for the Raiders. Now, they've been a spread team the last couple of years, but they're now running the wing T offense. Kurt Ware, who was a head coach at New Iberia, was running the wing T. Now he brings that to Northwest High School and to Chris Edwards. Coach Edwards and the Raiders, they're very hungry, they're motivated because they were just this close of making the playoffs in Class 3A, knowing that they were the 33rd team and the top 32 teams get in the playoffs. Last 2 years, the Raiders did not make the playoffs, so they're hungry to get back to where they made deep runs in the playoffs. I'm talking quarterfinals, semifinals. That's what the Raiders want to be. So check this out. Northwest High School. This is the last interview that we'll do from those for that media event held at St. Edmund High School. Here it is, Coach Edwards first, and you'll get to hear from Wesley Moore, offensive tackle for the Raiders.
Sharon here from Gridiron Football. I'm feeling pretty small right now, but this is Northwest right tackle Wesley Moore. Wesley, thanks for taking some time to chat with me a little bit.
Hey, no problem.
And I tell you what, I got some great news for you. And this is just coming out just right now. You have no idea, coming out right now. But Gridiron Football has a Gridiron Football bowl game they do every year. And they invite all the best players in Louisiana and around the country, seniors, to play in that game. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, Wesley, you're invited.
Oh,
so you got invited to play in the Gridiron Football Bowl game, which will be in December. December.
Yes,
so
sir.
congratulations,
Thank you.
And that's well deserved. And I know you play right tackle. Just looking at your size, you're like the prototypical right tackle. What are your biggest strengths as a right tackle? Is it the pass blocking game, the run blocking game? What are your biggest strengths as?
Probably run blocking. I'm fairly physical, fairly strong. I have a solid bench press. I'm trying to work on my squat, but neither one of them are bad. So probably just my biggest strength is my strength. So like I said, I'm fairly physical. So
I know you're out pretty much on an island, pretty much in pass blocking sometimes
Yes,
to the defensive ends. Any defensive lineman from any school that's like, he's kind of like giving me the biggest trouble or the most trouble?
We haven't played, but we did a 7-on-7 with Bigs had their own thing. Last year, they had a dude from OHS, Murphy, his first year.
Yep.
He was solid. He could pass rush well. He was strong. He was fast as well. He was solid. They had a dude from Eunice last year that was good. The D tackles from Church Point last year were fast. They're probably the main ones I can think of that were like they had a good combination. Like they can bull rush you with the strength. They were also quick.
And that's some Division I competition going against. I believe Trent is actually at ULL now. So that's some Division I talent you're going up against. So going up against that talent, I mean, it shows that you can play at that level. Have any schools shown you any interest or reach out to you at this point?
I've talked to him. He's coach, a running back coach a little bit. He came to our school. He invited me to their camp. That's about it.
Okay. Any schools that you want to I hope I get the opportunity to play for them, at least give me a chance or an opportunity?
Honestly, I'll play anywhere.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter just where, as long as they give you the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
For this upcoming season for Northwest, what you're trying to improve on, what are your goals that you're trying to accomplish your senior season?
I mean, as far as my goals, I guess maybe first team all district, that kind of stuff. I really want to get some team goals. I really want to make the playoffs, make a solid run. I want to try to win district. I guess personal goals would be maybe first team district, maybe do some all-state stuff.
Is there a player, a tackle that you like to watch on film, like an NFL player or YouTube highlights of?
I like to watch, I'm trying to think of his name, Brown's tackle. He retired
Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
I love watching Joe Thomas. He was great.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best out there.
Yeah, I wish he could have had some playoff runs, but he was great. I wish he would have been on some really something. Wish he would have been on a team like the Patriots where he could have won a couple of rings.
Oh yeah, right. It's just bad fortune, but he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh, he'll definitely
be in the Hall of Fame. So I know that's a player that you're trying to aspire to be. As just a vocal leader for this team for Northwest, how important is it for you to be that guy to lead this team?
I mean, you gotta step up. You gotta make sure people are doing their stuff right. If someone's having problems, try to help them know what they're going to play. Just make sure people know what they're doing.
And just to mention, close things out, like I mentioned on the spot, I gave him the offer to play in the Gridiron Football Bowl game, which is represented by some of the best players in the nation, in the state, and Wesley's going to get that opportunity. So what are your thoughts on that, just getting the opportunity to
that's
showcase
cool.
that?
I didn't know that was going to happen. That was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yep. So we'll feature Wesley a lot throughout the course of the season, as we give him the offer. So congratulations on the opportunity, and I know you're going to represent your school really well this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wesley Moore,
Thank you.
Northwest High School, senior right tackle. Check him out. Jace Luzerne here from Gridiron Football here with Northwest head coach Chris Edwards. Coach Edwards, ninth year coming on. It's been almost about a decade now with Northwest. Just talk about just the opportunity to be here, leading the Raiders to another season, and just really describe the relationship that you have with yourself and just the administration.
It's been fun being a kid from the area. I went to Northwest High School. It was really what the word I'm looking for, satisfying. Just to be back coaching hometown kids. Started off at Lawtell, the feeder school that feeds into Northwest, and it's been fun. We started off rolling fast and winning games, and we kind of slowed up a little bit the past 2 years, but COVID kind of started that, and not using it as an excuse, but last year we kind of got back up again. So I think this year you're going to see the Northwest Raiders kind of get back on track and try to get back in the playoff and make a run.
What do you think about this year's team? I know we talked to Wesley, your big right tackle, and I believe we actually offered him in a bowl game coming up, the Gridiron Bowl, for what he's been able to do. So I know you got the talent, and over the years, just watching y'all have had a lot of talent over the years. What do you think about this year's team and where they kind of stack up?
I think the best part of our team is the offensive line. Those guys, like I said, when COVID happened, we had 3 starters didn't return. So we went into that season with 5 sophomores that was JV players. They became varsity players immediately. They got their butts whipped that first year. Last year they got a lot better. So again, with this being the 3rd year, them playing together, they all best friends. They eat together in my office every day for lunch. So I think that continuity between them, the running back, Reese's best friends with them. So between those 5 guys and the 3 backs we have, I think that we could do something special on offense.
Every team has like their different story, their different identity. What's just been this year's message or story of this team? What's just been the message, overall message through the spring, through the summer, and heading into the fall?
Honestly, it's consistency. This is the first year in a couple of years I had guys show up every day. I mean, every guy on my roster probably been at 90% of the time this summer. They pushed each other. We had a great weight room, off-season program. So I think all that coming together. Last couple of years, I don't think it was mentally tough. And that showed up in games that got close this year. I could already see it. We get them in practice instead of hanging their heads. They pick it up. So hopefully this year we're ready to compete again.
And really, as far as the schedule, I know it's always tough and brutal, especially non-district, district. Talk about the challenges the team has this season and what kind of opponents y'all be playing this year.
This year, with us having a down year the past 2 years, our schedule is actually, I'm not going to say in our favor. Every game is tough, but compared to the schedule we had to the previous years to this, we went in an undefeated season and put together those quarterfinal runs. It was hard to play, schools your size, so you got to go play the 5A and 4A. And perception is everything. Just because you're not winning doesn't mean your team isn't good, but sometimes you can't compete with the 5A schools when you're 3A. And those years we still got in the playoffs at 5-5 because we got power points. We were so beat up. So hopefully this year, without playing those 5A schools, we can get in, keep our guys healthy through the season, and make a little noise.
Oh, most definitely, Coach. And is there like a specific goal, or is just do whatever it takes just to get better?
One practice at a time, one day at a time, one game at a time. Over the years, I can see us looking at certain games, certain opponents, and we get, snuck by somebody who we thought that we should have beat. Last year was Crowley, not saying anything bad, but it was a game we thought we should have won. We lost by 1 point, and looking back on it, that would have got us in the playoffs. And it was week 2, but you never know what week could cost you. So this year, we're trying to approach every game the same. Nobody's is least important or more important than the next. Kind of those Nick Saban attitude, win the day. If you win the day, and if you win every play over time, you're going to win ball games. So that's kind of the approach we took.
Coach, talk about I know you talked about your offensive line. Who are some skill guys that will touch the football a lot that you're really looking forward to taking the next jump this year?
One guy is Donovan Thomas. Donovan was a receiver last year, 14. Started for us, probably one of the most athletic kids on the team. He's probably 6'2", 175, 180. He probably caught 6-7 touchdowns last year. But the ball wasn't in his hand enough at receiver, so I'm putting him at running back. He's going to get his 15 to 16 touches. JV Reese, the fullback, he's been a running back for 2 years. He's a little bowling ball. He rushed close to 900 yards last year, so this year we're hoping to get him up to, whatever it takes to win. And our quarterback, Cameron Jubert, he was a running back last year. He's at quarterback. So they kind of give us between the 2 wing backs, a fullback, and a quarterback, they give us 4 guys that you got to prepare for on offense. So we're hoping that between those 4 guys that keep you off balance and keep it rolling.
Yes, sir.
And on defense, we picked up a senior linebacker that came from Texas. His name is Devon Anders. He's about 5'11", about 220, and he looked the part all summer. He gets to the football. He's physical. He's been hitting with no pads. So I can't wait to see these kids in pads. And we haven't had a middle linebacker like that since we went undefeated with Gage Willis. He was MVP of the district. So I'm not saying this kid is going to be the MVP of the district, but he has that same intensity, same leadership about himself. So hopefully it'll get us where we need to be on defense also.
Coach, last question. What is your message to the school, the fans, community, just getting out, supporting y'all every Friday night and seeing the Raiders play?
Same thing you said. Come out, support these kids. These kids play better with parents and fans in the stands. We enjoy the support. We encourage you to come, and it's going to be fun. We think you really enjoy the football game, and secondly, our band. People come to our band. Those guys go out there and perform every Friday night. We got a great band director, and they play great music, so it's a party every Friday night in Northwest.
Oh, it is always a party going to Northwest High School. Coach Chris Edwards, it's always been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, not a problem. Check out the Raiders. They're always in the thick of things, and they will be this year in 2022.
To the 3 high schools that we'll cover today, St. Edmund High School, once again, cannot thank Coach Shiver, St. Edmund High School enough for allowing us to be there and covering the Blue Jays at the media event. Of course, we'll have a big feature in next month's magazine on the Blue Jays. And speaking of the magazine, we'll give a plug to Andy Bryson, obviously, Gridiron Football. And if you haven't done so already, just go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, and check out this month's magazine, the August edition of Gridiron Football. It's a great cover, as you can see right here. Just a lot of really good players on the cover this month. We have a special edition at Madison Prep. Why is called Wide Receiver U, and if you read the article that Andy did, Andy went to Madison Prep, took all those pictures at Madison Prep. You can see why. You can see the talent that Madison Prep has this year, led by Coach Williams, and you can see that 2-page write-up that Andy did on the Chargers this year. But we not only have Louisiana, we have a lot of other players represented in the magazine from all over the country, in Texas, Illinois, Bristol, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Michigan, you name it. We have players represented in this month's magazine. We have a couple commitment. That's something that we've been experimenting with in our first month. A couple of commitment articles that we've done as well. Abram Murray's a kicker out of Calvary Baptist. He just committed to the Miami Hurricanes. He's actually a class of 2024, one of the top kickers in the nation. Dixon Ague is also a commitment interview in the magazine. He is from Dutchtown High School. We got a couple of school spotlights on Warren Easton and Holy Savior Menard. So really good August issue. So make sure you check it out. Go to Gridiron Football USA. The best thing about it is free. I mean, it's on our website. It's the first thing when you pull up Gridiron Football. It's on there. It's the first thing that you click on, the first thing that you see, and you have access to the whole magazine. You can just download it from your computer. And in fact, in case you didn't know, if you click on a page, it will bring you to the actual full article or the kids' highlights. So it will actually hyperlink you to the kids' highlights or the full article that we wrote on the kid. So make sure you go to gridironfootballusa.com and please download this month's magazine. You're going to enjoy it. And we have a special magazine edition coming for you later. More, I'll bring that up to you as we go on through the month for next month's magazine. So make sure you go to gridironfootballusa.com and check out this month's magazine. Now let's move ahead. We're going to talk about the LSU Tigers. But before we go into how fall camp is going, this was a big week for LSU football as a couple of Baton Rouge guys committed over the last couple of days. And because of that, the LSU Tigers are now number 6 in the country in recruiting. And it was a big domino effect, which actually started, I believe, 2 weekends ago, which was at Catholic High. 5-star receiver Shelton Sampson Jr. made his decision, and from that point, LSU came really hot in recruiting. So check out the initial moment that everybody knew that Shelton Sampson, 5-star wide receiver from Catholic High, was going to take his talents to the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge. That was the moment that Shelton Sampson Jr. really started the domino effect at LSU to get those Baton Rouge guys home to stay in Louisiana. So it created just like I said, a domino effect, because just a couple of days later, keep in mind last week when I had Marcus Randall on, Ricky Collins just announced his decommitment from Purdue. So this was a very important week for Ricky Collins to see what the rest of his options are. And right about 2 or 3 days after he announced his decommitment, that's when Shelton Sampson announced his commitment to LSU. So you knew that LSU was in good standings with Ricky Collins. And then when Ricky Collins said that he was going to commit on, I believe it was Wednesday last week. I mean, these days kind of all fell into each other. Actually, it might have been Tuesday. It was Tuesday last week. And no, I'm right. It was Wednesday. Because it was the debut of the first episode of The Chase with Jace. So last Wednesday, it was Ricky Collins' turn to announce his decision. And after that commitment by Shelton Sampson Jr., it was evident that LSU was in a good place for Ricky Collins, and it paid off when Ricky Collins made his decision to commit to the LSU Tigers.
Big thanks to Mom Dude. Y'all know my dude. She always with us. She gonna do everything she got for us. She gonna give a leg and an arm for us. And she done did completely everything is more for me as I can ask for. I mean, she done been through a lot. So just to be here and be playing is a true blessing. So, which I came here for. But Ricky said, go Tigers.
Now was Ricky Collins announcing his commitment to LSU. And then, finally, this past weekend on Saturday, another Baton Rouge native made his decision to commit, and it was Colin Jackson, Zachary's safety. He had to decide between the LSU Tigers or the Texas A&M Aggies. Check out what Colin Jackson decided where he was going to commit to.
There you go, make the right decision.
And that was it. That capped off an exciting week for LSU, especially if you're a fan, as those are three of the best players in the state, all from Baton Rouge. So it was definitely a good week if you're an LSU football fan. Speaking of LSU, we're going to dig deep right into fall, how fall practice is going. Obviously, there was some big news the last couple of days. Actually, yep, if you're watching this, it will be 2 days ago. But Miles Brennan, longtime quarterback for the Tigers, entering his 6th year for LSU, decided to call it quits and hang up the cleats. So when I saw LSU play or practice, when they had the first practice that was fully available to the media, and I was there, Garrett Nussmeier had an ankle injury. So it limited him in his ability to be with the team portion, have that portion in practice. Now, he was throwing quarterback and participating in quarterback drills during the practice, but he wasn't with the team portion. Jaden Daniels was getting most of the first team reps when they were playing in the team portion, and Miles Brennan didn't really get a lot of opportunities. And Miles had a lot of nice plays. He actually had the highlight of the practice was when he connected with Brian Thomas Jr. for a touchdown. And little did everybody know that was going to be the last time that the media would ever see Miles Brennan in an LSU uniform. And it was pretty evident that it looked like that the coaching staff was giving more and more repetitions for Nussmeier and Jaden Daniels, and it looked like that Miles was fading away the last couple of practices as far as getting reps, and you can just see it. So for Miles, it was a tough break. It was a tough break to end a career that everybody would be thinking, what if? I mean, it is a what if scenario. If you look at his numbers, over 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, and actually when he started in 2020, he had some tough breaks because he was playing with probably the worst LSU defense ever since I've been watching him, for sure. And he actually had record-setting numbers in those 3 games. I believe it was the most passing yards an LSU quarterback had in their first 3 games, and then he had the injury, which ended his season. A very rare injury in 2020 because doctors said that they would have to undergo surgery and name it after Miles Brennan because that's how rare the injury was. You move ahead in 2021, he was in the quarterback competition with Max Johnson, and then he has a really freakish accident that happened, which was not even related to football. It happened when he was at his fishing camp, I believe in Mississippi. But really just tough breaks for Miles Brennan. He was in quarterback competitions all the way dating back all the way to 2017 when he was battling with Danny Etling. So he had Danny Etling. Then 2018 he was in the quarterback competition. That's when Joe Burrow came in, and the rest was history from there. 2020 he was actually the star. He was the guy. Then a freak injury happened to him, and he missed the rest of the season. And in the last 2 years, of course, 2021, a freakish injury or accident happened to him. And it's just been a lot of bad luck for Miles Brennan, but really kudos for Miles because he could have gone somewhere else. I mean, he could have transferred somewhere else around the country. He didn't. He decided to stay. He graduated. He got his degree. He has a national championship ring at LSU. So he had a great time in college. He has a couple of NIL deals. So he made the most of his college experience. And Miles is definitely a Tiger, thick and thin, through and through. And I really admire the guy. For not a lot, in this day of age of college football, a lot of guys would have quit. They would have gone somewhere else. But Miles Brennan decided to tough it out and compete. And that's what football players should do. He didn't run away from the competition. He embraced it. He is what college football players should embrace. They should embrace that competition. Miles did that. So, hats off to you, number 15. It certainly was strange not to see you out there in practice. It was rare. Did not feel right, not seeing Miles Brennan out there for 6 years. He went through Coach Les Miles, went through Coach Ed Orgeron, now Brian Kelly. Tiger, thick and thin, through and through. And congratulations, number 15. I think you had an excellent career at LSU, and you are a definition of an LSU Tiger. Now, moving on, now that we addressed the elephant in the room, that is Miles Brennan. I'm going to give some quick evaluations of what I've seen so far in camp. Quarterbacks, now it's a two-man race. It's between Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier. And you kind of saw that. I mean, if you saw the practice highlights that I uploaded the last couple of days, there were a lot of quarterback drills with either Nussmeier or Daniels moving outside the pocket, letting them use their legs, and just with the history of what really Brian Kelly and what Denbrock want to use in their quarterbacks, they want a running quarterback. And Jaden Daniels is that, but Jaden Daniels has also shown the ability to throw. And keep in mind, his freshman year, he was unbelievable at Arizona State. And that's where he had a lot of weapons around him. So he can throw the deep ball. He throws a beautiful deep ball. And if he can work on the underneath routes, on the underneath throws, and he could be a very dangerous quarterback in the SEC. And really the intermediate throws that he was able to hit, he hit a lot of them. He really did for LSU during practice. And you saw a lot of that in there. I mean, there was a couple of strikes he made over in the middle, and he really looked comfortable when we were at practice last Wednesday when we had the whole practice available to us. And then Garrett Nussmeier looked really good in the spring. I mean, this guy can make all the throws. He probably has the most upside between the two, between him and Jaden Daniels. But he has a lot of raw ability. He has that gunslinger mentality, like a Brett Favre, like a Baker Mayfield. Some of these guys that you've seen over the years, he has that. He has that gunslinger type of mentality, and sometimes it's good, and in other instances it's bad. But I think he's been able to really, reserve himself and sell those abilities in. And to me, I mean, he's right there with Jaden. I mean, it's going to be a battle really right into the end. I'm comfortable with either guy that does take snaps, and I think LSU's in a good position, whether it's number 13 or number 5. And in these next couple of weeks, they're going to be very important to see who emerges from that competition. But now what I'm interested in to see what the approach is to Walker Howard, because now you only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks. If you're intending to redshirt Walker Howard, well, I mean, you can only play him in 4 games. So if one of the quarterbacks goes down, then you only have 1 scholarship quarterback. So I'm going to be very interested to see what LSU does with the situation. But it's going to be intriguing, and the media will get a chance to see a couple of full practices, so we'll get to see this competition heat up at quarterback. And we'll find out September 4th, just like everybody else, to see who will be quarterback number 1. But, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either guy. At running back, that's going to be a running back by committee based on what I've seen. And from yesterday with the running backs, it's been a running back by committee. John Emery, Noah Cain, Armani Goodwin, Josh Williams, those are your 4 guys. You heard the situation with Bradford, the running back that is no longer with the school. That does hurt the depth, but you still got 4 guys you can count on. I think that's plenty enough in the SEC that you can utilize. So, and I think that LSU really likes their 4 guys at running back, wide receiver. No matter who's going to be taking snaps at quarterback, it's pretty evident right now that the wide receivers at LSU is probably the deepest group in the SEC, and it is deep. Right now, there are 5 guys that they're all starters. I mean, you look at Brian Thomas, Keyshawn Butte, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Kyron Lacey, Dre Jenkins. I mean, they have receivers galore. Then you also add in Chris Hilton, who comes back, Jack Besh. Jack Besh was a freshman All-SEC guy last year. That's moving to receiver. He played tight end a lot last year because that's where they need him to play. So him moving to receiver is going to be huge for this team. And not to mention, the running backs can catch out of the backfield. And I know the tight end's been getting a lot of heat right now, but I really like the tight ends from what I've seen. I mean, Mason Taylor as a freshman, he can be a guy that can be a freshman All-SEC type of player. And they have guys at tight end. Mashburn was a really good blocker. You have Cole Taylor, who's a great receiver. We see him, what he can do in the passing game. And Nick Storrs is a big guy too, another big body that they can utilize. So I think the tight ends, as much heat as they were getting, I think they're actually in a decent spot right now. Offensive line, there's been a lot of mixing and matching right now on the offensive line. The biggest news was Garrett Dellinger getting snaps at center. He never played center before this year. Now he's getting first team reps there. I can see why everybody is concerned there. He had a couple high snaps here and there, but overall, I feel like he's looked pretty as comfortable as one would be, making that transition from guard, tackle to center. So, considering the circumstances, I think he's doing a good job already. It's been the same pretty much combination on the offensive line. Will Campbell's been at left tackle. Left guard has been Tremont Shorts. Right guard been Miles Frazier. Right tackle Anthony Bradford. I think the coaches really like what they've seen from Emory Jones, that he could be a swing guy. Cordell Thomas. Cam Wire has a lot of starting experience at tackle. So they really have about 10 guys right now that I feel like the coaching staff is pretty confident in if they ever thrown into game action. So the 2 deep is just trying to establish more depth behind them. But I feel like they have numbers there on the offensive line. But that's a position over the course of the season. They need to stay healthy. A couple of injuries here and there. They rack up, especially at that position in this physical of a league in the SEC West. Defensively, we know about the defensive line. 2 things for certain is the defensive line and wide receivers. And defensive line is pretty deep too. Looks like they're going to a 3-man front right now. Jaquan Roy is playing inside at nose guard, and the 2 ends are Ali Gay and Mason Smith. And then you add in B.J. Ojulari, you can be that jack guy. This could be the best defensive line in the SEC. And without a doubt, I mean, those 4 guys, they're going to be probably first-round picks on that defensive line, or early day picks in the NFL draft. And then behind them, Mekhi Wingo's looked good. Jacobian Guillory has looked good. Savion Jones. Bryce Langston's got some plays. So Quincy Wiggins is pretty impressive. So defensive line is going to be very impressive this year. Now, linebacker, right now, it's been pretty consistent who the coaches really like right now, linebacker, based on reps. It's been Mike Jones Jr. Greg Penn has looked really good. In my opinion, he looks thick. He looks put together, but he's shown some speed going sideline to sideline. That's what you need from your SEC linebacker, and he's done exactly that. Harold Perkins, man, he sticks out. I mean, as a freshman, to look like that. I mean, there's not a lot of guys around the country that are coming from high school that looks like Harold Perkins, so he will play a lot. And Wes Weeks has come in, and he's really settled in quite nicely coming in from Virginia. My biggest question is where they really have Micah Baskerville, because we've seen Micah Baskerville. So Micah's been around the LSU football team for a long time, that's my biggest question, is where does the coaching staff really see Micah to be in? Because I really haven't seen that much of him. But I mean, with the numbers at linebacker, he is going to be a guy that is at least getting reps and will be getting there to provide So we'll see how the linebacking core really shakes up, but I think LSU has about 5 guys that they can trust right now to play and really play in the SEC starting this year. Secondary, there's been a lot of question marks because there's been a lot of new guys. You really have a guy that has emerged the most has been Kobe Richardson, who's been coming in from McNeese State, and he's really been emerging over the last really about a week. The last time we talked to Coach Kelly, that was the first guy he really mentioned in the secondary is Kobe Richardson. And really cornerbacks, it's been really Kobe Richardson that's been emerging. It's been a very surprise name that has emerged for the Tigers. And on the other side of him, you have a couple guys getting reps. I mean, Jart Bernard Converse, who comes in from Oklahoma State, has been getting a lot of reps, and I mean, presumably so, because he's an all Big 12 cornerback that played at Oklahoma State. So you have him. You have Seven Banks, who comes in from Ohio State. A lot of transfers, a lot of new faces in the secondary. Seven Banks coming in from Ohio State. I already talked about Kobe Richardson coming from McNeese State. You have, like I mentioned, Jart Bernard Converse coming in from Oklahoma State. You have Mekhi Garner, who comes in from ULL, the Raging Cajuns. So Major Burns has a year, so he's a veteran. He was a star from last year. Jay Ward is in the secondary. He's a veteran. But you add 2 more Arkansas transfers, Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. Those guys are both from Arkansas, and they have played a lot of football in the SEC. So you have a lot of talent. You have a lot of guys that played a lot of experience, and really excel where they're at. I think all these guys just want the opportunity to play at LSU, and this coaching staff has given them the opportunity, so they've all came home, and I mean that's what they want to do. I mean, these guys weren't as highly recruited coming out of high school at LSU, and now they're getting the opportunity to represent their home state quite well. So there is a lot of mixing and matching in the secondary, and that's going to be another position group that I'm very intrigued. Once we get that final depth chart the week leading up to Florida State, we'll know, as you know, in the secondary, and same can be said on special teams. I mean, Jay Bramlett, it seems like that he is going to be your punter, but kicker, it's definitely wide open, to say the least. So that's what's been going on at fall camp right now. Now, we don't go to LSU every single day, but when we do go to LSU, we get a lot. So I appreciate Michael Bonnet for giving us the opportunity to go over there and grab film of the guys as they practice. And as a look at the LSU schedule, now when this comes up on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, I actually would have my practice report for LSU already done. So Wednesday is going to be a huge day for LSU because there's going to be a whole practice, and we'll provide a lot of information for you. So make sure to go to Gridiron Football USA, as there will be a lot of content that day. My practice report, practice highlights. I believe we get to talk with, I'm looking at the schedule right now. Yeah, Coach Kelly will meet with the media too. So Coach Kelly will have a lot to say on a lot of different subjects tomorrow. And then Saturday, let's see, looking at the total schedule here. Yeah, Friday, Matt House meets with the media, so we'll get some sound bites for you there from Matt House. Saturday, another practice is open to the media, but this time for the first 30 minutes. And then by Tuesday, by the show time next week, we'll have another practice open to the media, so full practice. So this is the time of year where we're getting a lot of content when it comes to LSU football, knowing that we're about 18 days out from the first game against Florida State. So we have a lot to bring you. Make sure to go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, once again, as there is a lot of practice reports. You can find practice reports that I've written up on every day I've gone to practice. We have player interviews. We have practice highlights. We have all kinds of content, so make sure to go to gridironfootballusa.com. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel right here at Gridiron Football. Please like, share the show. I'm experimenting with a couple of things, so please bear with me today as we got set up with OBS Studio, and I'm actually doing the show live as we do it. Usually in post-production, I would go back and add a lot of stuff later on, but I'm doing it as I'm doing the show, so please forgive me if I'm, not as into it today, just because I'm just making sure everything is up and going so y'all can have the interviews, you can have the practice highlights all the way in the background. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching the show today. And yeah, we're just getting that time of year. Football, high school football starting next week. We'll have some content for you for Jamboree week. I'm sure we'll go to a lot of games starting next week. I'm sure this week too. So I'll make sure to play a lot of practice or game highlights for you once football season starts. I'll give you an update on the LSU transfers later this week too. So make sure to go to our website too, Gridiron Football, for that again. Once again, it was a kind of a today, I was making sure to get the interviews in there for you from the media event that we went to St. Edmund High School, so make sure that y'all had that, and hope y'all enjoyed that part. I'll have more information for y'all on LSU as we get more into it. That's just my general synopsis on LSU football right now. LSU's got a couple more guys from this 2023 class that they can get. Kai Prian is another guy that could commit to the LSU Tigers, and then also Lance Hurd from Neville High School, the offensive lineman, offensive tackle. He narrowed down his top 5 schools, and one of them was LSU. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll keep you posted on where they decide to commit to. But yeah, a lot going on. LSU football fall practice. We have high school articles. We got commitment articles from going to teams across the country. We got our magazine out, and we'll make sure to have Andy's show is coming up soon too, so make sure y'all keep up with that at Gridiron Football and their YouTube channel. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. So like I said, a lot of things going on right now. A lot of guys committing in this year's class. We have Jamboree week, high school football, LSU's in a couple of weeks, so a lot of interesting stuff going on at Gridiron Football. And then Marcus Randall, he's going to be coming on starting next week. Every week we're going to talk about LSU football. We'll have a segment that myself and Marcus will go and dive deep into the Fighting Tigers of LSU starting next week. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the show, guys. Please make sure to share it with your friends, family, share. Do whatever you need to do. The show will be on YouTube. It will be on our Facebook page as well. So the quality of video is actually much better than it was last week when it was the first show. So we're just going to continue to grow this and get this bigger and better. And then actually I'll post it too, but make sure you put in the hashtag Ask Jace, and I'll answer any LSU or high school football questions that you may have for me, and I'll answer them on the show. Go to Gridiron Football, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, and go with the hashtag Ask Jace, and I'll answer your question on the show. So Ask Jace, hashtag Ask Jace, and I'll answer your questions. Follow us on Facebook at Gridiron Football, on Twitter, on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in and bearing with me today. We're going to get the show bigger and better each and every week. I'm so excited to be a part of it. Gridiron Football. I can't thank Andy Bryson and Marcus Randall enough for giving me this opportunity. And we're going to make sure we give you a lot of content when it comes to football. Well, I'm going to wrap the show like I always do, and that is what you're chasing. Because I'm chasing to grow this company and get to the best they possibly can be. What you're chasing. Good evening, everybody.